Hello, welcome to Guns and Yellow Ribbons. VAR drama, late goal from Mourinho and Gabriel. Arsenal walk out of St. James's Park with a statement win, 3 points. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to another podcast by Guns and Yellow Ribbons. This is your Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Enjoy the show.
Good evening, Andrew. It feels like I haven't even left your side for 24 hours. Well, I haven't. And Trevor is in a really good mood. He's really looking forward to speaking to me tonight.
What kind of intro was that? We've won yesterday. We've won yesterday. We've made a statement, and you enjoy the show. Yeah, that's got everybody wanting to listen to us.
Because I forgot to look for the other thing. Don't worry about it. He's in such a mood.
This is going to be a long night.
It's going to be a long night. It's going to be a really bloody long night.
Oh, dear me.
Right. Trevor, how's Scotland?
Yeah, warm, sunny, beautiful. Great place to watch the Arsenal win yesterday at St. James's Park. Not only win, but make a massive statement about what our intentions are for this season. Absolutely buzzing off of that performance. I'm a bit gutted I couldn't be there, but I'm on a family holiday up in Scotland, and family comes first. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And listen, you touched on it, and we'll go into it in a minute, how important the 3 points were following the weekend's results. I know we all celebrated Eddie Nketiah. We've always thought he was a great player. And, he's Agent Eddie at Crystal Palace, wasn't he, Andrew?
Oh, it was, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we all like celebrating that one, weren't we? And we're all doing this as the coming through and he's scored that goal, mate. Absolutely brilliant. And it's just absolutely brilliant that Liverpool got one against them for a change in the last few minutes. Brilliant.
Who's the young bloke in the middle? Heath. Sorry, wrong position, isn't it? There we go.
No. Hang on. Fucking young bloke between you two. You need to put me in the middle.
The slim young bloke, he says. Read all the words.
Oh, yeah. I can't read it properly with glasses. I got new glasses last week. And on Saturday, I was out getting a fridge freezer for the mother-in-law because our fridge freezer packed up all of a sudden. Trying to get in the back of the car, 130-pound glasses smashed on the ground. I can't even complain that they were badly made. They were just smashed. So, yeah, back to these older ones. So, yeah, they're only reading glasses. Train journeys. Trevor, your legacy, the British Rail. Wow. Listen, there was a broken rail on the way up, Andrew, and we were diverted via Leeds and on to York and then Newcastle about an hour later than we thought.
Yeah, well, I had to drive. I was going to join you boys at Newark, and I couldn't, so I got the missus to drive me to York, which was a 3-hour round trip for her, bless her. So thanks, love. Met you boys in York, and it was interesting. It was absolute pandemonium there because there was just trains delayed left, right, and centre. So, but we got there in the end. We managed to have a few beers before we started, and and off we went.
Yeah, well, you have to have refreshments when you're on a train journey like that. No, just as well, we brought enough to last the whole journey. That's all I can say. It's the Boy Scout of us. We always bring enough, Trevor, you've been to St. James's Park many a time. I call this the stairway to heaven. It could have been the stairway to hell if the result didn't go our way. But those stairs and that staircase in that stadium is absolutely ridiculous that they expect 3,000 away fans to go up that staircase, and the horrible bar area, the view. There's a stat about the view from where myself and Andrew and Dan were on the back row to Pope's goal at the other end is officially half a kilometre away. That is ridiculous, Trevor.
Yeah, look, right. I said it yesterday before we played there, and I say it every season when we play there. Newcastle cheats. They're cheats, right? I even agreed with Gary Neville yesterday on commentary. Gary Neville said that away fans should be pitch side at Newcastle. I nearly had my final heart attack and passed away when I agreed with Gary Neville. But he's right? Because, fairness to the Arsenal fans, they're that good. We did hear the Arsenal fans a lot yesterday, but we didn't see them, right? and it makes it a one-sided stadium, and that's why the rule was brought in. Some away fans pitch side to improve the atmosphere, improve it on the eye, and it helped the players. And everybody's calling Newcastle out. I call them out all the time, but I don't have the power to make any change. But people that out there do have the power to make change. Absolutely, Newcastle could put away fans in the lower tier. They'll have all sorts of excuses. But when you think about how it is now, up them bloody stairs, when you come out afterwards, you walk for about 20 yards and you're all in amongst the Newcastle fans anyway. So there's no segregation. They don't gain. So they should move us downstairs, put one block downstairs, one block in the middle or whatever, and let us have our say at St James's Park. But it backfired yesterday, but they're cheats.
Joe, I'm glad we were at the top, mate, because when that second goal went in, if it wasn't, I would have gone off the back because it was we were jumping around like mad.
It was pretty nuts indeed. Listen, it was your first trip to Newcastle, and let's bring up the view that we had here. It's a bloody long way away, isn't it, Andrew?
Yeah, it is. I couldn't believe how far away it was. I mean, everyone had said to me, it's like watching Sabutio when you're up there and stuff like that. And I'd seen it, but it's not until you actually get up that you realise how far away you actually are from everything. But the view to see it, I mean, tactically, it's great because you can just see what's going on everywhere across the pitch, and see where everyone's dropping in and moving around and inverting around. It's fantastic for that. And we were quite close to Newcastle fans as well, which I think really sort of brought the atmosphere to us as well, especially when things started happening in the first half.
Dan had to go for a walk at the second half, didn't he? After the second goal, we'll talk about that later.
We'll come back to that.
We will. Listen, a new feature that we've got a QR code up in that corner up there. If you click on that QR code, if you're watching us on Twitter or if you're watching us on your TV, you can like and subscribe us on YouTube and follow our content on there. So it's a new little feature that we've done. It does work. I did test it this morning, actually.
I hope it works.
Being a bit technical, you are.
I am. I'm getting really clever, aren't I?
Heath put here, it's cold up there. Heath, it's that high, right? When you get in that end at Newcastle, they do a safety announcement warning you that if the weather turns bad, oxygen masks will drop from the ceiling. That's how far up in the air you are.
It's really high. Yeah,
but the view, like I've just taken it down, but the view is you can see the whole city. You can see over the Gateshead. I think I saw the London Shard from up there. That's how high it felt like.
You were pointing out to me the hotel was staying in Gateshead for the Sunderland game.
Yeah,
up there, and I was just like, "That's ridiculous. How can you see that from here?"
Yeah. It's ridiculous. Let's look at Arsenal versus Newcastle. It was a 2-1 victory, a statement victory by the Arsenal. Let's look at the lineup. The lineups that we had was Raya, Timber, Mosquera, Gabriel Calafiori, Zubamendi, Rice, Eze, Saka, Trossard starts again, and Victor Gyökeres up top. Trevor, what was your view when you saw that lineup? How were you about? I expressed my reservations about Trossard starting games. How were you about that? And Saliba was dropped.
I was excited about that starting lineup. I didn't mind Saliba being dropped because we've now got a defender that's classy enough to rotate in and out in that position, which is good. What excited me most, though, was the fact that when I saw that lineup, I thought, well, Ez is playing 10. Ez is playing 10 here. Nothing against Marino. Marino showed yesterday clearly what a massive addition he is to our squad, Marino. But when it comes to playing 10 and finding space and working the ball, I was over the moon when I saw Eze name there. Wonderful. And then, of course, the other change was Trossard on the left. I was happy when Trossard extended his or got a pay rise or didn't leave in the summer. I was very happy. But I had my doubts about him being a starter. He scores loads of goals, Trossard, when he comes on as a sub. And that's what I like to see him doing. But yesterday he was fine, wasn't he? In fairness, absolutely fine. Can't really. If you can find a reason to call an Arsenal player out yesterday, you're getting a bit too picky. And if you can find a reason, whatever your previous thoughts are, to call Mikel Arteta out yesterday, you need to take a serious look at yourself and go and buy yourself a blue and white scarf, because you shouldn't be supporting the Arsenal.
It's quite funny. Somebody who's renowned for for historically calling out the managers of old on social media, has called out somebody who's now calling out a current manager on social media. I just think, how pot kettle black. But let's move on. Let's not worry about that. Eze, number 10, fantastic, looked sharp. 2 great opportunities to score early on in that first half. Pope was forced to make 2 great saves. One from Timber. He also did make a good save from Trossard as well later in the game, and from Eze. Trevor, we were definitely, up until that penalty, which we'll come into in a few minutes, up until that penalty, for the first 15 minutes, we absolutely smashed the life out of Newcastle, didn't we?
Oh, the way we started, it was absolutely amazing, because our performances against Newcastle left me personally with some amount of doubt as to how well we were going to play yesterday, following on from last year's performances at St James's Park. But I needn't have worried. We flew out the blocks. We looked inventive. We looked creative. We looked like a team that can possibly win the league. We really played that well. And I honestly think, Ferg, that the penalty being overturned and then the Newcastle goal, which was a fine header, by the way. You can't say no. It was a fine header. But those 2 things, I think it knocked us for 6 for about 15, 20 minutes, I think that what must have been going through the player's head, right? It's a clear and obvious penalty, which we'll discuss in a bit. And then straight after that, we give a goal away. Yeah, the players are going to be down for a bit, but it's how you react. And boy, they didn't let us down yesterday, did they, eh?
No, they didn't. Andrew, your thoughts on that first 15 minutes leading up to the penalty, and just the way we seem to come there, like as Trevor mentioned before, we the last 4 out of 5 fixtures we met at St James's Park in all competitions we've lost are not won. It was really, really important, given the results of the weekends, which we've already said as well, that we made a statement, and we came out really intent on making that statement, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I mean, we were brilliant. We were moving the ball around so well, So when we went forward, and it was, you look at our possession, I think we had 64% possession across the whole game. So you look at what we were trying to do. We're moving the ball left to right. We were trying to get it into the channels, and then there was that break, and you saw it superbly from where we were, which was when Saka sort of played. I think it was when Trossard hit the post. Saka played it across, and then Trossard was making the overlapping run, and you could see what he was going to do. And we just looked like we were going to score. And when we said, didn't we, when that penalty was not given, the crowd just turned, and it just got so loud in there. I couldn't believe how loud it was, but we quietened them down, because we just didn't let them sort of get on top of us. And I think we're absolutely superb. I mean, Eze should have had that. I mean, if other than that great save from Pope down to his right hand side, that's a great save, and it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, but look, the credit where credit is due. Pope did have a good game, and Pope kept them in the game, Trevor. Let's look at the first controversial decision then. So the controversy that we had first and foremost was this penalty. I'm not going to show the video because it only gets clipped out by YouTube, etc. So I've got a few still images. What was your view on it? Look, my view when I saw it was at the far end of the pitch, Trevor. It was hard to see. I saw Victor Gyökeres go down. I saw the referee pointing at the penalty. I couldn't, and Andrew and Dan, I think, were in the same position. We couldn't argue. We went, yeah, it looks like a penalty to us, but it's half a kilometre away. So, you're on mute, mate.
I know. I'm sorry. When it first happened, I thought that's a nailed-on penalty, and then they were saying on the television as it went to VAR that Pope got the ball, and because Pope got the ball and played the ball, it's not a penalty, But then when you watch it back, they played it back, Pope doesn't get the ball. Gyökeres gets the ball and tries to flick it past Pope, but it hits Pope's foot. Pope's foot doesn't move any further towards the ball. He just sticks his leg out there, and Gyökeres tries to knock it past him and knocks it onto his foot. So it's a penalty, because how many times over the years, right, have you heard the phrase, there was contact, it's a penalty? It's a commentator's favourite phrase, isn't it? Yeah, there's contact there, it's a penalty. It's the first time I've ever seen contact and it not be a penalty. It really is. And I was over the moon this morning that Andrew, you mentioned it earlier. I watched it briefly. Dermot Gallagher got properly called out this morning.
Yeah, he did.
He got belittled a bit, as he should. He should be ashamed of himself.
Yeah, he did. Jay Boothroyd proper called him out on that this morning. It was brilliant to watch. And, he's absolutely spot on. Go back to last week when Sanchez brought Mbeumo down going through on goal. There's no difference. He's gone to play the ball. He hasn't played it. He's taken the player out. There's an opportunity for the striker to go round the goalkeeper. It's a penalty. And this is what we keep saying on about, is about this consistency of officiating. But we were stood there and I don't know how long it actually was. It felt like an absolute age. And when you actually see that we played 8 minutes added on time at the end of the first half, it took so long watching that screen. I think
it was 5 minutes for the decision and then 7 minutes added on at the end. The thing that annoyed me was, it's meant VAR are meant to intervene in if there's a clear and obvious error by the referee and to try and get the right decision. Now, the referee on pitch referee was quite comfortable with his decision. There was no error in the sense of a mistake in what he had done. He'd seen a penalty. He called a penalty, but they called him over there, and then they manipulate the referees into saying overturn it. But there was an incident earlier in the weekend. I think was it Pedro? Was it Pedro? There was one, and then we only have to go back to Saliba last year, where a penalty was given against us, where it was a clash of heads, and because the ball touched Saliba's head, it was deemed that he cleared it, so there was no penalty given. It's the double standards of the whole thing for me, Trevor, that really annoyed me, the lack of consistency.
The penalty was given against Saliba for an accidental clash of heads. Saliba went to end the ball, and the penalty was given against us. And it was a disgraceful and completely contradicts what we saw yesterday. Where are we? Jeff, you're exactly right, mate. There was no clear and obvious error. If something takes 5 minutes of 3 or 4 people looking at a screen to decide either way, it's not clear and obvious either way. It's not clear and obvious in that situation. The referee's decision stands. It's a penalty. So yeah, I'm truly baffled by it. I've given up being angry. I mean, Arsenal fans have every right to be angry, and I dread to think what would have happened if we hadn't come back and superbly won the game. Because it was a catastrophe of the highest caliber. It was really embarrassingly bad. And just remember, right? I don't watch Howard Webb on the telly, but a few clips I've seen of him when he's doing something that's been debatable, he's giving it all this. His head goes and his hands are out, and he's all. Just remember, right? If someone's trying to make a point of something that doesn't really exist, that's what they do. They over-exaggerate, right? They over-exaggerate because they know they're talking absolute crap, but they try and make it work with every other gesture. So Webb will do that when he talks about it. And just remember, he's talking absolute crap.
Irishman says the rules as they stand don't give the chance for consistency for referees. They just undermine the referees the whole way.
But the fact that we've literally, sort of like everything you've seen today is a penalty. Everybody said it. Even Adrian Durham said it was a penalty on TalkSport. That's just tells you. If he hates us with a passion, and it's even done. And there was no reason for the referee to spend that long watching that replay, because if you watch something in slow motion that many times, you are going to find something. It's that you're taking it out of the game.
Exactly. And you see this, right? Adam, if the ref supports another Premier League team, they should ref in the Championship and so on. I probably agree with that statement, especially when you think we won't be losing much high quality of referee out of the Premiership, will we? But someone said to me, a couple of people said on social media that, why are people saying that Gillett is a Liverpool fan? He gave the penalty, right? Yeah, he gave the penalty, gave it as he saw it, every bit of credit. But when he crossed, if I was in his position as an Arsenal fan, right, and I'd given a penalty for Liverpool, and someone called me across to the screen to say, have another look at this, right? I don't care how unbiased I tried to be, I would be thinking in my head, oh God, I've got an opportunity to chalk this off here. Yes, I could knock a goal off here because I thought it was a penalty when I've given it. But if they call me to the screen, that is it. I'm chalking it.
Nope. Have we lost him?
who they
Oh, that was an
support.
interesting freeze.
You're back, Trev. You just froze there for a second, mate.
Did I freeze? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gary says that the problem is the inconsistency of it all. We'll see the same again next week. It never changes; it just gets worse.
Exactly.
On the subject of Adam and his comments, Adam made a comment which leads us on to our next point, which is the when we conceded a goal against Newcastle. Gabriel gets a slight push as he jumps, and we'll talk about whether it was a foul or not there. But Adam, I totally disagree with you here. That Gabriel should have done better for the goal. Going down like that was embarrassing. Very, very strong words there, Trevor, don't you think?
Yeah. Everyone's entitled to their opinion on that, and Adam has, and he's not really having a go at anybody. So that's criticism that we accept, and But the way I saw it was that the push came from behind. It doesn't have to be a big push. It just has. It's not a foul. It's a good goal, right? I'm not saying it's a foul, but I don't think Gabriel went down on purpose. I think he was probably just leaning backwards or forwards, trying to move towards the ball, and he's got a little nudge, and it's just knocks him off balance and put him down. And maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right, who knows? But I didn't think Gabriel went over the top. I just think he was caught off guard.
I think
and it was a good goal. It was a good goal.
I think he went to jump. So I literally, if you've gone up to jump and he's sort of just left the ground and he's got a push, your momentum's going for. You're not expecting something to come from behind you. So that's where I think he's just fallen forward, where he's gone to get the header. Yeah. Do you know what? It is what it is.
Was it last season or season before there was a push on Gabriel again in the box at Newcastle? That was a far clearer and far more obvious than any of this.
I'll tell you what, boys. Newcastle have got some of the dirtiest players I've seen in recent times. Guimarães, oh, what a cocky twat he is, eh? Throwing his weight about, blindsiding people. But let's stick with Gabriel, boys. Let's stick with Gabriel because he must have thought that the big tall lad pushed him, because it weren't long after Gabriel gave him a cracking smack in the chops, and he was very lucky to stay on the field. I thought he was gone. Now, if VAR had intervened there,
they did.
Said, ref, you've missed a clear and obvious smack in the mouth here. What complaint can we have?
They saw it. They looked at it.
Did they see it? Because I'd written down here after I watched Match of the Day, will there be a follow-up? Will there be retribution? But you saying they've already seen it. What's happened there, Andrew? Yeah?
No, VAR watched it on the time and said there was nothing to it. So they basically just said it was just a clash. It's not done. But there's interesting, I can't even pronounce his name. I struggle with some of them. But the big Newcastle fella, he said in his interview afterwards, he said if he'd have actually gone down clutching his face, they would have been forced to do something. And do you know what? He's actually right. Because I think because he got on with it, nothing was really given, and I think VAR just brushed it off as they're coming together, and away they went. But that's why we're so lucky, because the FA now can't do anything about it, because it's been the on-field decision stands.
Yeah, he was lucky boy, Gabriel. Lucky boy.
Oh, I agree. Now I've seen it back.
But he didn't dive for the push in the back, I don't think. But he was a lucky boy for the smack in the chops, although it makes me giggle.
Do you know I thought that is it Voldemort or something like that? I can't remember.
Voldemort.
What's that?
Voldemort.
Voldemort. Yeah. I thought his interview was reasonably refreshing. Like he called out Gabriel, saying like, "Yeah, well, you did push me, but I'm not going to go down," as you said. So I thought fair play to him in that sense. Probably one of the decent players that played for Newcastle.
He did, and he did say, didn't he? He said, "Next time I'll go down and see what happens." So you know what? He probably won't, because he's just that type of player. But it just shows you, doesn't it, why we probably see so much of it going on, and people just hitting the deck when they've had a push on the shoulder, a clutch in the face.
And don't forget, boys, it works both ways, because as Adam says there, Victor almost had his face torn off. By, I think I'm not sure what Newcastle player it was now. I'm not really interested in Newcastle players. But he nearly had his face torn off and nothing was given. He got a proper one grab and pull in the face in the penalty area. Nailed on penalty. See, they say
just can we look at this pronunciation here for Dem's sake? At last, there's somebody not as bad, who's worse than me on this one. Watberger. So
That'll do. We'll call him Wattburger from now on. That'll do.
He's Wattburger from now on. Trevor, you sent through a couple of bits to me, and one of the things I picked up on was the strength in our subs. We'll go through the second half, which we're coming up to now, and we'll go through the goals, we'll go through the build-up, and we'll go through the Newcastle fans singing, same old Arsenal always cheating and so on. But it was the strength in our subs. Saliba came on for Mascara at half-time, Marino and Martinelli for Saka and Calafiori, Odegaard for Zubamendi, and what a difference each and every one of those players made. And it didn't take anything away from what the players that came off, because they were equally as good.
It's such a big change for us this season, and it's such a wonderful, wonderful thing to see, our strength in depth. We bring on all these subs, and we don't look any weaker. We just get stronger. Yeah, thank you, Ronnie. I thought it was Guimaraes. I'll come back to that because I hate him. Yeah, it was wonderful to see this. I mean, you're taking off a centre half, and you're bringing on arguably the best centre half in the world as his replacement. Come on, yeah. Brilliant.
I don't think Mascara had a bad game, other than spooning the clearance that went out for the corner. I thought he was all right. I didn't think he's. But you've got to give him that chance of going. He's played well the last few games.
You're on mute again, Trev.
I'm talking to someone here. That's why I'm talking to my beautiful wife.
I stopped talking because I thought you were saying it.
We don't know. I'm waiting for you to respond to Andrew, and I didn't know if I was meant to respond. And you're talking to Donna.
Sorry, Andrew. What did you say?
Right. I was just saying I didn't think Mascara had a bad game, other than sort of spooning that clearance off for the corner, which led to the goal. I thought he was fairly solid. But
Mascara. What do you mean mascara? Hang on a minute. I'm not having that. We'll swap you around. Mascara.
Told you I'm rubbish with names. I'm still getting the alcohol.
Right?
Mascara. There we go then. Okay, we'll go to that side. But you're right though, Trev. I mean, from where we were last year to be, when we're looking at the bench again, you've got Dowman and sort of a few of the others on there for the academy, and now to be able to bring on Saliba at half time to make a difference, just shows you how strong we've got now.
Yeah, and I mean, we brought Odegaard on, who I was a bit worried we might drop off after they brought Odegaard on because Eze was flying. But he kept us moving nicely and set up the second goal. Actually, if I'm honest, so I can't think of anything bad about that performance yesterday, apart from what we always talk about, the referees.
Yeah, listen, I think what it was we had a never give up attitude throughout that game. Yes, I agree that once the penalty was not given against us, and then they came back and equalised, the crowd at St. James's Park, which were mostly quiet, did rise up, and it just came. Everything seemed to come at the right time for them. And I thought, oh Christ, this could go really wrong. The clock was ticking down and ticking down and ticking down. We got to 80 minutes or 82. I think it was 82 minutes, and the Odegaard substitution and did make a difference. We had Lewis Skelly also come on as well.
He did really well.
He did really well, and he was involved in the last goal. But Dan and I and yourself were standing up there, and Dan was getting more and more animated as we went along, and we're all just it's quite frustrating to see that we're playing so well. But Dan rightly said, if we get one, we'll get another. And I agree, but I was worried about how much time was ticking away. Andrew, over to you on that one.
Yeah, I think we all just saw it coming, didn't we? We were just begging for that first one to go in, because as soon as he said we agreed it, we got the one, we got the two, and we were just coming in waves and waves, and they couldn't clear the lines quick enough, because every time they got it anywhere near the halfway line, we had it straight back. Then we had 20 attempts on goal, and the nice thing for me was 18 of them were inside the box, which is which is good, which means we're actually starting to, to find those those gaps, and people are starting to smooth, and it's all starting to slowly click together. So,
Trevor, when you look at some of the other games that we had, like the City game and even the Port Vale game, the manager came into a lot of criticism from people saying that I've used the word pragmatic, but people use stronger words in his style and his tactics and substitutions. But when asked to perform in probably the most important game so far this season, because of where it was in before the international break and everything else, he did. He got everything spot on, didn't he? And I think he would have got everything spot on against City, but I think Pep threw a curveball.
I mean, come on, boys. Look, you know, we're second in the league. We're only second in the league because Liverpool scored a once-in-a-lifetime worldie against us. So we're right up there, doing very, very little wrong. And yeah, Arteta's no good, is he? You know, he's not got his tactics right. He's not playing the right players. He's not letting them off the leash enough. Yeah. Oh yeah, he's awful. Get rid of him, eh? Let's join the other dickheads and let's get rid of Arteta, right? We're second in the league. Only because we let a worldie go in against us, that's never going to be scored again. Arteta, who could do better than what Arteta's doing at the moment? People get off his back, you know. I get frustrated when I think we could be being more positive here. We could be moving the ball quicker more. But there's a reason, right? We've done it against Man City and we've done it against Liverpool when it's a bit frustrating, right? The best teams in the league, right? We can't go out and throw everything forward against the likes of Man City and Liverpool. They'll tear us a new one. So you have to play to a certain way. I mean, that game at Liverpool, right, when everybody was on his back, or not everybody, but a lot of people were on his back about us being too reserved, including me. I even mentioned it, you know. But Liverpool were the same. Liverpool had one chance all game, I think, or two. And they're at home and they're league champions. So come on. Leave him be. If we have a crap run like these next few games we've got and start dropping points to them, then call him out. But you know, I just think some of the people that call him out, they just do it because they want you to pick up one of these and go click, 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 click. And I'm not going to name anybody, but the worst offender rhymes with rots. Okay, and And these people are not Arsenal fans. Leave Arteta alone. We're doing all right. Oh, I'm so angry. I'm so angry. And I mean, of course, we're going to come out more open than Newcastle. Newcastle, let me tell you, right, are a bang average side from what I saw yesterday, right? They've lost 2-1 at home, luckily. They should have lost 4-3, 4-5-1 at home on another day. You know, so of course we're going to open up against average sides like that. Against the bigger top sides, we're going to be more reserved and more careful. I'm moving on. I'm not having nothing to do with it. I now will just want to hit someone with a baseball bat or something.
Pope again.
Move on.
Pope again in the second half made a great save from Timber, from a header from Timber, which was again. I thought Pope was outstanding, a great keeper, and I think that was a difference a couple of seasons ago when Newcastle when they had Isak and not Pope. That's why they didn't get Champions League. Now they've got Pope and no Isak, so I don't think they'll get Champions League again. As we said, the subs made a huge difference, and so the set pieces. But I think some teams had figured, like match of the day, where I think we're talking about some teams had maybe figured out our formula about our set pieces, but Declan Rice decided to change it up a little bit for that first equaliser with Marino, and he went short to Eze, which I think Eze was caught a bit. He was caught a little. Gone freaking hell! That's coming to me. But he done it really well, but Rice put the ball back in to recircle it into the box, and Mikel Marino, my good God, he does it every time, Andrew.
He does, but don't take away from that cross from Declan Rice as well. I mean, I know Eze wasn't expecting that ball back, but when I expected him to put his foot on top of it, roll it forward and cross it. But to cross it first time with that accuracy, to put it right on Marino's head, just shows you what class player that he is. He really is. But what that header is fantastic. And it's angled perfectly off the post, hits Pope, and it's in the back of the net. My God, we went mental because we knew that was it. It was good. We were going to take all 3 points after that. But Marino's just absolute. I think is it 9 goals he's got for us now in this year? Did someone say
Since I don't know the stats.
I can't remember what it is now. I'll have to have a look at it and see now. Where is it? He's our top scorer across all competitions, 9. seventh in the Premier League, and 4 of his last 9 goals have been scored with his head. There you go.
He's a very,
and
very
he's a former Newcastle player as well, which made it even sweeter, didn't it, Trev?
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
Listen, right, Marino is a very, very special asset to our squad. I don't know where he should start. I don't like it when he's played further forward. I'm all right when he started centre forward. I don't think he's a 10. But then when you watch him play international football, he bangs goals in for fun like he's doing for us now. So I love Mikel Marino. I'm still not sure where we play him in the side if he starts regularly. Mind you, no one's going to start regularly for the Arsenal now, are they? You know, we're changing everything around. But talking of set pieces, Ferg, when we come on to the second goal, mate, and that is a very special goal as well, let me tell you.
Yeah, it's absolutely stunning. Which one? Yeah, the next one is where Lewis Skelly actually comes on the pitch, and Newcastle were like hemmed in their box. Pope tries to release. I don't know. I think it was Murphy. It was a guy on the near side to us. I can't remember what the player's name was, but Lewis Skelly pops up in the middle of the park, lays a ball off to Rice, and then Rice forces Pope to put the ball out of play for the corner. Now, somebody said it on one of the radio channels, I think, and they were phoning in. Like, there's a football pundit, like a sensible one. He said, "How you'd never?" I think it was Hawksby and Jacobs. What's it like to be a goalkeeper? You have the game of your life and do everything, and you chuck the ball out to give a last-minute set piece corner, and the ball comes into Gabriel. And how well does he take that, Trevor?
Oh, let me tell you, it looks like it was a bit of a mess, that corner, everyone in there, but it was an absolutely immaculately worked corner. It really was. Saliba was, firstly, the first thing you've got to do is you've got to have someone that's going to put the ball on the spot. And Declan Rice has been doing it regularly this season. All season, he's been dropping them corners right in the danger zone. Gabriel charges in to header it. But Pope's coming, and Saliba positions himself between Pope and the ball perfectly. And he don't push Pope. He doesn't back into him. He just moves. He keeps the ball in line with him, so he knows Pope's behind him wanting to get to the ball, and Pope has absolutely no chance, and Gabriel rises superbly in front and heads it into the back of the net. Wonderful goal, really well worked corner, and mayhem ensues, don't it?
It does.
It definitely did.
I was just about to say, mayhem ensued. There was limbs everywhere. Because we were the very back row, nobody could go, and we've got the wall behind me. I just stood back and I watched absolute chaos. And then Dan was gone. He was gone like Peter Pan across tops of people. He was just gone flying over towards the Newcastle fans. He ripped his jeans, everything. He just wanted to say to them, thanks very much for being great hosts, I think, or something like that. Don't you think?
No, so I think he wanted to go and say hello to his Geordie mate, didn't he? He wanted to just go make sure that he'd seen the goal had gone in, I think he said, or something like when he got back. I turned to you, jumping around, and then I turned to Dan, turned around, and I was like, where's he gone? And literally, he just disappeared out, and completely gone. And then he just wanders back, really casual, and goes, fucking told them. just out of nowhere. It was so brilliant. But it was just unbelievable. So it was just he did noise as well, then we made from that. And you did that place just started emptying, didn't it, straight away? Because they were all going. It was just that was it, game over.
I think they were going at 1-0, 1-1, because I think they knew what was coming, and it did make a difference. Trevor, I bet you sitting wherever you're watching it in Scotland, looking at that moment in time, a 96-minute winner, you're thinking, oh, I do want to be there. But I don't think you would have stayed off the drink. You might have broke on that occasion.
Yeah, I've got to keep off the alcohol at the moment. So as you rightly say, Ferg, it was lucky I wasn't there, because I'd have been absolutely tish-faced last night after that.
I don't know, mate. You should have been tasting the beer in that first pub we went to.
I nearly got kicked off the site because I was raucously celebrating on this site, and it didn't help when the site warden came round by our motorhome and I had my shirt off and singing to him "You'll Fall in Love." It didn't quite, but anyway, it was all good in the end.
Where's that photo? Send me that photo. I got it.
It was all good in the
Oh
end.
my God! Did you actually? Was that actually? I could actually. I don't even notice that you did because you know that you did.
You've not seen the photo.
I tell you what, Newcastle, right? Newcastle, not Newcastle. Gary Neville, right? Gary Neville. When that goal went in, when they had him on background commentary, and you just heard his first thing he said was, and people will put me right on here, but the first thing you heard Gary Neville say was, "Oh, like the Arsenal scored." Oh, and then he pulled himself round and he was his normal monotone, monotonous, whatever. Gary Neville, you know what I mean. But yeah, the first thing he said was, "Oh," and I thought, "Oh, unlucky Gary Neville." But
maybe
yeah,
you saw this. Maybe you saw this, Trev. It looks like it's a summer solstice down in Stonehenge or something like that, standing there like singing to the moon. Man, you're looking well. That's all I can say. You're looking well.
It was very cold, let me tell you that. Very cold, but just look, right, us fans, right, us passionate fans, of which you two are, and many thousands of others are. I don't know of anything better in football than a last-minute winner. I don't know of any better feeling. There is no better feeling than your team scoring a last-minute winner, especially in a game like that yesterday, where you're away at Newcastle. We all often have terrible performances up there. We've gone 1-0 down. We've had a penalty chalked off with the worst VAR decision I've possibly seen. You know, I know Gabriel's got away with throwing one, but Guimaraes should have been off once or twice. And the Geordie fans have spent the whole 98 minutes singing "Same Old Arsenal, Always Cheating." Geordie fans, that is an embarrassment. That's a real embarrassment, Newcastle fans. You're not even supporting your own team. You're just spending the whole of the 98 minutes singing about the Arsenal. And when our players hear that, it lifts them. It lifts them. So you keep on singing "Same Old Arsenal, Always Cheating." It's boring, Newcastle, but it's funny. It's funny. Thank you for the help, Newcastle fans, in geeing our players up and getting them to win the goal. And now getting us to get the goal. And now I can't remember what I was talking about in the first place. So
let me show you. Let me show you what it's like after a 96-minute winner. In the upper tier, seven levels. It's 140 steps, about 10 stories up. This is what it's like. It was absolutely mental. Absolutely mental. Mr. Trev?
That song has been going around my head all day. I've been sat here, just like working today, just humming that song to myself.
I must admit, I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning and trying to get myself back to sleep. I was breathing and my breath was going, just running round and round and round in our head. Again, to credit the away traveling fans that went up there, there was a fault on the line on the way up. Loads of trains cancelled on the way down. Our train was cancelled on the way back. Everyone was trying to cram onto the 736. This is the platform at Newcastle Central Station. It was absolutely mobbed, and there was no difference between Arsenal playing staff and fans. It was everyone mixed in together, and it was a free for all in the train. 3 hours, myself. Andrew, you got out a little bit before me, but all the way to London, 3 hours standing in it. It's absolutely ridiculous as well.
Do you know what? It's like those blokes behind me where I'm stood. There's three of them sat across two seats. So you've got a guy sat in the middle, him on the end, there's somebody on the floor. Then there's somebody on the floor down behind Sue. And it's just people everywhere. And this unfortunately we haven't got Claire Bolden in the background anywhere, have we? But it was just absolutely mad. But the bit for me was when that chap tried to get his seat, and he was a Newcastle fan. Oh, he had no chance, and we just rinsed him all the way back.
Although when an older gentleman came on and he wanted his seat, we made sure
we
did get his seat. Yeah, we sorted
that out. Definitely sorted that out. He managed, but do you know what? When we were like laughing around and singing and stuff, he was loving it. He was smiling away and laughing away as he was having a great time.
Yeah, he actually said to me, he said, "Oh, I hope I haven't missed all the entertainment, young man." And I went, "No, I'm sure we'll have some more for you later." Next up, Trevor, on Wednesday, you're not back for Wednesday. You're back for the West Ham game after the international break. Next up, we got Greek side that you've watched while you were out there, Olympiacos. Talk to us about Olympiacos. They are no mugs in this tournament, and it will be a tougher game than people are thinking, don't you think?
Yeah, they're a top side, Olympiacos, but they shouldn't be a match for the Arsenal at home. Not the current Arsenal team that we saw play against Newcastle yesterday. They'll have raucous support, will Olympiacos. That their end will be bouncing and packed, and it will lift them, and they'll come to get something out of the game. But if we're sensible and we look at it reasonably, and you look at every position on the field, you think we should be going 2 from 2 in the Champions League, which is very important in this long league format. It was really important and great to win the first game, not because we'd have been in trouble if we hadn't won it, but to get off to that good start, right? That's really important. Now to nail that down with a home game win, right, against Olympiacos, that is really important. Now get 2 wins up, and and then we're on our way. Then we want to dodge that playoff game in February, don't we? We don't want to play the playoff round in February. We want February to be concentrating on league position, and so I can't see why we won't win against Olympiacos on Wednesday. I'm really confident about it, to be honest.
Yeah, Andrew, Olympiacos Wednesday, and then we got Atletico on the 21st of October, again after the international break, both at home. And as Trevor said, it's important to avoid that group stage. We got 3 points away at Bilbao, 3 points hopefully against Olympiacos, and Atletico Madrid would put us in a very positive position to go to Prague, which again, you'd expect we'd get maximum points. So we'd be on 12 points. I think that guarantees you a top 24 or whatever it is. So it guarantees you going through to the next stage, and then it's just concentrating on trying to get Bayern, Bruges, Inter, and Kirat. I don't know. So, what's your expectations? Any thoughts on Olympiacos?
I mean, it's like Trev said, they're a good team, aren't they? I mean, they drew the first game 0-0 against Pathos, so it's against 10 men. So, I mean, I know that we were reading some bits of the day. Their fans have given a bit of pressure to, for them to come over here and actually perform and do some, and take the points. So, if they're going to be up for it, then hopefully, they'll come at us and they'll actually attack us. And that's what I want to see. I don't want them to come back and sit with 11 men behind the ball and go for the draw. It sounds like there's a bit of pressure and they're going to come here and attack us and try and go for the win, which if they do, be great because that'll just play straight into our hands.
Well, their owner is Marinakis, who also has got dealings. He's not an owner anymore of Nottingham Forest because he couldn't be. But he demands a lot from people. Do you reckon we might see Edu down there as well, Trev?
Oh, I don't know. I don't care. I really couldn't be bothered, Ferg. I don't care if they bring whoever with them. Just got it in my head when we're talking about beating Panathinaikos, Olympiacos. My God, if Olympiacos fans heard me call them the P word, they'd find me and beat me senseless. So I'm sorry, Olympiacos. what makes Olympiacos more important for me is looking a game ahead. I know we're at home, but Atletico boys are absolutely flying at the moment.
Mm.
I am at Real this weekend, beat Real 5-2, you know.
Yeah.
So it's really important to get these 2 wins behind us. And I can't. Yeah, we're gonna. I'd even go as far as say I'm sure we're gonna win. You know. But who is it? Just put it up there. Adam. Was it Adam? If you can't get to the Arsenal very often, there's lots of seats on the ticket exchange. But having said that, I think there's some kind of limitations.
Restrictions. You need to have a red membership that was bought before the 24th of August, before the draw was made for you. And I believe you also need to have to be in the ballot for it as well. But if you can't get to the Emirates, you've got the 4th round draw in the League Cup, which will be at the end of October as well. So keep an eye out on the website for that. What was I going to put up? I was going to also put up. Unless has anybody else got to say anything further on the Champions League?
No,
no,
not
yet.
So I was going to say that. Go on, Trev. You were saying it's a long.
No, just nothing to add really, apart from the fact it's a long tournament, and these first few games are important to get yourself nicely placed in that. What is the European Super League? Isn't it? You know what I mean? Come on, let's not.
It is all but name, isn't it? It's all but name.
Yeah.
Super League light sort of thing. Remember, 415 of you on all platforms. If you'd like to follow us on YouTube and follow all our content, we do a couple of shorts. We do walk down to the ground. Sometimes Trevor does some bits on the Hillsy Gooners Twitter as well. Click on that QR code up there in the right. It's all backwards on here. Up there in the right, and you can follow us.
I'll tell you what, can someone click on it out there and tell us if it works, please?
It does.
If it don't work, I'm going to have some fun.
Listen, what we've been doing here for the last 51 minutes is talking. We support Andy's Man's Club and Andy's Man Club, which is a suicide prevention charity and a safe place for men to go and have a chat and everything else. We will mention this absolutely every episode at some point throughout it. It's good to talk. Look for that hashtag. Go to Andy's Man Club. If anybody's struggling, please do reach out. Don't be alone. The great phrase that always sticks with me: don't make a permanent decision from a temporary crisis. Also, if you go to the Arsenal are also supporting men's mental health and suicide as well. Moving on then to the last. Go on, Trev.
Comment here, folks. Just a comment here. Ronnie, listen, mate. We've got no desire to make money, mate. We've probably made about 30 quid in about 10 years.
It's not that much. Don't start bigging us up. I don't think I've even got the 20 quid yet.
And double figures yet.
YouTube keep hold of it until I get the 60 quid.
Ronnie, if you've got any ideas for what you'd like to see us do, mate, by all means, drop a message to Fergus. Fergus is our leader. And we won't be charging for it, mate. We'll never go down that road. Other people go for clicks, you know, like that, but no, not us. And look at this. So thank you for that, Ronnie. Any suggestions, send them to Fergus. And look, Ferg, it works.
Yes, it works.
I know.
Look at that, eh?
I know. Thank you, Crush.
Thank you for Crush.
Thank you. Let's look at what we got looking after the international break. We started West Ham at home, then we're Fulham away, Palace at home, Burnley away, Sunderland away. You'd like to think there is a couple of there's 3 derbies in there, and Palace are no mugs these days. But you'd like to think we'd get a lot of points out of there. And look at the ones that people are saying are also contenders for the title. It's a Chelsea, Liverpool, Man United, Brentford, Liverpool, Aston Villa, Man City, Liverpool. We've got through one of the toughest starts for a long time in what we've just done in the last 6. Hang on, Trevor. In the last 6 games, we've played Man City at home, we've played Man United away, we played Liverpool away, and we played Newcastle away. And then we've had 2 a newly promoted side and Forest as well with a new manager bounce. Not that that's really any good. He doesn't bounce that much. But we've got 13 out of possible 18 points. We can push on with those next 6 games, and Liverpool are hitting their really tough run. Go on, Trev.
No, just put that back up there again, please, Ferg. That graphic, yeah. Because this is where we need to see change. Because the next two games, Arsenal v West Ham last season got beat.
Yeah.
Fulham v Arsenal last season got beat. Yeah. Arsenal v Palace, I can't remember. So I'm not looking past them two games. But they don't. Last season, I had this wonderful, comfy, warm feeling about playing West Ham and playing at Fulham, and we got turned over. We didn't play well at all. So this is the games where we're going to see change, hopefully, and we're going to go on and win this bloody league at last.
West Ham will have their new manager in charge as well, won't they? As well, so that'll be interesting as well. It's the first one against us. Well, second one would be their second game in charge, won't it, against us?
They're playing in a few minutes against Everton away. That's going to be a tough game. That's going to be a tough game.
You toffees.
You see, I like both sides. I like both sides. I prefer of the two. I'd prefer West Ham, and I'd be following West Ham on that one. Yeah.
Boys, when this show's over, right? Sorry, Andrew. When this show's over, everybody out there, and we've gone off air, we'll still be talking a bit like this. And when the West Ham game comes on, Ferguson will be giving it all this.
Any children watching right now, cover your ears. Fuck off, Trevor.
Bloody hell. I was really as aggressive as the one he said to me yesterday. Crikey.
Hey, what about the Newcastle fan who's standing there in his Newcastle shirt and he was just trying to get his first class seat? And I just turned around and said,
God, yeah.
What team did you support last year?
Yeah,
he had a long way to travel. He said, "Where are you traveling to?" I'm traveling back to London, and he was an international supporter. And I, a couple of beers and everything else. He came out with some stupid stuff, and I turned around and said, "What team did you support last year?" And the whole carriage cracked up laughing. But listen, Trevor, anything to add? Do we have Trev time, or I'm leaving you back to get
I'm
that?
Happy for it to be up on the hour. My wonderful wife has been very patient sitting at the end of the motorhome for the last hour, so it's now dinner time. And I've got nothing more to say apart from we're going to win on Wednesday, and I'll be back on Saturday.
Right, Andrew, thank you very much. Enjoyed your company yesterday. Enjoyed your company again.
Thank you, mate. It's good.
It's been a good giggle, good laugh, adventurous. Trevor, it's been great. You've been in Scotland. It's been a breath of fresh air for you. Yeah. I mean, like the fresh air in the lungs and stuff.
I just love the fact that there's probably a few 100 miles between you two, but you still managed to bicker and fall out. It doesn't matter, does it? How far there is between you.
It's a love thing. That's what it is. It's a love thing.
We married couple.
Listen, you have been watching Guns and Yellow Ribbons, an Arsenal podcast. What's that?
Oh dear.
Oh yeah. Well, he wouldn't. He was miserable. You've been watching an Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Really hope you enjoyed the show. As I said, if you want to follow us, go across the Guns and Yellow Ribbons on YouTube, like and support us. We'll be back. We won't be back Friday because there is no preview. So it'll be a couple of weeks' time after the international break.
The Arsenal. Ferg. I've forgotten, right? I've just got to listen to everybody. I've ranted a bit tonight, and I apologise for that. I don't normally rant like this. But when people start having a pop at my manager after a performance like yesterday, then it gets me back up a bit, It gets me back up a bit. So I'm sorry if I've ranted a bit. It won't happen again. Well, not till the next time Fergus pisses me off.
Justified.
It wasn't me. I didn't slag off the manager. Thank you very much. Just clarify.
You didn't. No, you didn't. In fact, not at all.
No. Right. You have been watching Guns and Yellow Ribbons, an Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Up the Arsenal, Fox Spurs. I still do it. I don't put the in anymore, Trev. I listen.
Good. Yeah. Good. Yeah. As you should.
Yeah.
It's the button.
Thanks for listening.
Oh, not that button.
Not that button. What's the matter with you? Sort your life out.
I was just about to say.
Don't worry.
Barcode work. Ferg's gone through a whole episode without fucking it up. And he's...
Oh, my God.
I'm going to press the other button now. Should I press the other button now?
Yeah, get out
Actually,
of it.
press the right one.
I will press the right one. Up the Arsenal, Fox Spurs.
Thanks for listening to Guns and Yellow Ribbons, an Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Follow us on Facebook at Guns and Yellow Ribbons or Twitter at Guns and Ribbons. And remember to rate and review us too. Up the Arsenal.